Hey loves, it's good to see you guys again. I know it's kind of been a hot minute, but I seriously woke up today and I was like, I just feel inspired to talk about energy as it pertains to cord cutting. I hear this all the time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with cord cutting, but like it is when you have an energetic tie with somebody. A lot of times it's from like a past relationship partner, but it could also be family. It could be like a coworker. I mean, it could be a situation that went down a few years ago. So cord cutting, a lot of people will go to a practitioner to help them cut the cord of that energetic tie so they can kind of like move on and feel better. Well, something I learned about cord cutting several years ago was cord cutting is like one layer of putting a boundary in the energy, but it's not as effective as root removal. Okay. And so when I learned about root removal, that like really changed the game for me. Cause I was like, yeah, this sounds a little bit more permanent, which if we're going in to cut the cord, I think most of us want it to be more permanent. Right. And so I'm like, okay, what does it take? What does it require to remove something by the root as opposed to like, like when you shave and it just cuts off like the top layer. So it's like good for a while, but then sometimes that hair grows back thicker, right? Or, quickly or more, pronounced, I guess. And so I was like, okay, so the more that I did my research and I was talking to a shaman that I was working with at that time, and she was telling me, well, the root removal is like when you do the deep dive on your energy and you actually figure out like what is the reason behind what's keeping you connected to that person. Let's just, because it's kind of complicated, let's simplify it and talk about like, let's say you had a narcissistic or toxic ex. You're in a toxic relationship with this individual. And let's say you finally got the strength to like leave the relationship. And then all of a sudden, okay, so you're not seeing this person. It's been, let's say like 3 months, which is like a pretty long time and still kind of fresh. So let's say you have put certain levels of boundaries there, a physical boundary, you block them on social media. Let's say you say your prayers every day, you try to think positive thoughts, you're doing all of these things to shift the energy. But when it comes to like actually removing the root, like the cord, the energetic tie from the root, we're talking about actually understanding what your karma was or what the energetic cycle was about. And the reason why you were with that person, why did you attract them? Otherwise, in another way of saying, why did you call them into your energy field? Why did they call you into their energy field? So once you start to really look at like, what were the reasons for that? And that does not mean, for those people out there who are like, oh, is she saying to go back to them? No, I'm not saying go back to them for any reason. Like, having a physical boundary, you can still do energy work to cut cords, to uproot those cords. But I will say from personal experience, it can take time. It depends on what the nature of the energy is, how you're aware, how much you're aware of it, how much support you have, and what kinds of things, like how spiritual you are, how do you keep your spiritual cleanliness. Like there's so many factors, of course. Plus we all have like lived different lifetimes, so some of us are a little bit more advanced on those types of journeys than other people, so it may take them a little bit less time. Either way, when it comes to understanding these energetic cycles, one of the suggestions that I have for you is instead of, well, first you have to grieve. Okay, let's just be real. We're human beings. We feel sadness from loss. We get hurt. There is that like going through those stages of grief. Once you've kind of gone through your stages of grief and you're like, okay, I'm not so sad about it or upset about it anymore, but I definitely want to figure out where that cord is going to be, uprooted and removed, like for good. So it's the lesson. You can think about it as the spiritual lesson in why you were connected to that individual. Was it about you learning how to, stick up for yourself and maintain your own sense of power? Do you like question yourself a lot? Or even when you're on having a good day and you don't have any toxic people in your life, do you still sometimes find ways to give your power away, maybe to your job or the work that you do, or maybe to the media, like comparing how you look? Maybe you don't feel confident about yourself. For some people, it's like they get taken advantage of because, maybe you're an empath, and maybe in a spiritual sense, you really haven't mastered how to manage and balance and really use that empathic gift that you have and work it into the light. Maybe it's something that is just kind of with you, and you pick up on people's emotions, and you kind of lack boundaries, energetic boundaries with people. So you absorb a lot. So maybe that's where you are at on your journey, is really learning how to master the spiritual gift that you were given as an empath. I mean, the list goes on and on, which is why I love what I do, because that's part of the job. Is I help people understand through the deep dive, what is it that your specific energetic cycles are trying to tell you about your journey, about up leveling in your life. And I love the concept of, understanding it through cord cutting, because so many of us are so quick to want to disconnect from something that feels bad, disconnect. And I've had clients in the past where they're like, oh yeah, I got away from my narcissistic ex. And I don't take anything away from you if that's your situation, especially my clients. I'm here, I ride all day for my clients, but it's more about like, after the disconnection is made, have you understood what it is that was about? Because otherwise, and I hate to say it, but it's like you stand the chance of repeating and that cord just kind of, growing right back. So you don't want to have to keep like shaving it off the top, but the root is still like there, right? And so with what I do, I'm so passionate about like, I'm not going to help you do anything unless it's leading to root removal. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in like, let's just make you feel better for the time being and cut a little bit off the top, knowing that little bud is still in there, and I do understand that like not everybody's ready to like do the work of pulling it up from the root. That's just been my life experience too, where I've done both, and I don't like the one where you shave it off the top, because it usually comes back and literally at the most inconvenient time, where you're like, dude, I thought I addressed this issue. I thought I got rid of this. I hadn't seen this hair, in years, or in a year, or in months. And your energy's already ready to go above and beyond in another direction. And you're sitting there, the same karmic cycle is coming back. And you're like, I thought I dealt with this. So yes, I felt passionate. I don't know. Maybe I just woke up this morning and I was like, I need to talk to the people about this whole root removal, compared to cord cutting. So, root cutting, or I don't know what a good terminology is for it, but just removing it by the root. I would love to know like what you guys' experience has been with, the difference. Like, have you been able to tell the difference in your own energetic journey, in your own spiritual path, or working with other spiritual practitioners, like what the difference is from removing a cycle from just like the top layer? Like, can you tell the difference? Have you seen that where it's come back and that it's still kind of there? I think it's sometimes hard to admit to ourselves that there's still something there. There's still something about that energy. And instead of being like, oh, I'm shitty, I'm still bad, or I haven't learned that lesson. Like, I hate that. I don't think that maintaining a high vibration is about blaming and shaming ourselves, because what's that going to do? That's just going to put us further into a hole where we don't want to be. But rather than shaming and talking shit about yourself, you can say, okay, this is an opportunity. I say this to my clients all the time. Things we need to address and work out energetically, it's always a freaking opportunity to move to the next level and really master our energy. Because at the end of the day, we are master manifestors, or that's what we're entitled to, right? We're entitled to become master manifestors. And once we start getting to that level in our energy, then we can really start to call in things with the level of what I call precision, right? Because I think your energy has to be up there, high and aligned, plus having the strategy is what it really takes to design the life, to be a co-creator with the universe. Like, it's literally our birthright to be able to get to that level. Now, I hear some people saying, well, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and we all have free will. And I think that's what makes the spiritual journey so unique to each and every one of us is, yes, we do all have free will, and we don't all have to choose to be on that glow up. But for those people who really, want to be on the glow up and who really want to manifest their dream life, whatever that is, because it doesn't all have to be like Mercedes Benz and, trips to Tulum and across the world and lavish handbags and like drippy stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be that way for all of us. But for some people, that abundant lifestyle, that manifested and that co-created, co-designed lifestyle with the universe, maybe that's having a family in a small, a semi-moderate 4-bedroom house, or maybe you want your dream car, you want to have like a G-Wagon or something, but maybe you like to rent and you don't want to buy. I know you guys don't need me to tell you about the different types of manifestation, but literally, I can't say this enough when it comes to root removal versus cord cutting, just from the top layer. We're literally talking about 2 different levels of energy work. And I'm certainly not here to judge the type of level you're doing or you're working on, but I think, I think the benefits are more rewarding in the long run. And I have learned my lesson, and I've totally stopped doing things that are going to get me temporary results. Why do it? For me at least. So anyways, if you guys are interested in learning more about, how to dive deep into the energy, let me know in the comments. Hit me up on my website. I am doing my 30-day glow up package right now. And it is for that person, if that's you, who wants to glow up their energy. And I've created a package, a system, based on my background as a therapist and an energy worker, because y'all know I do Reiki too, but it's an accelerated program. So it's designed for the person who's ready to dive deep and fast track it and not have to freaking wait a long ass time to get this underway, to understand it. So, I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video. Thanks for listening. I feel like I just fulfilled my urge to get this message out. And it was just like, this is like the second take. Like, I started the first take and this was like it. So I think it was Spirit. I think Spirit wanted me to get this message out. Let me know if you guys want me to talk more about this, or there's any other topics that you want to hear about.